Hey buddies. Hey y'all, this is Hope. And I have been on the twin flame journey since 1993, or that's when I met my counterpart. So I want to talk today about the twin flame journey, what it means, how to navigate the silent treatment phase, signs that they're a twin flame, and maybe telepathy a little bit, even though I already have a video on that. But generally speaking, I'm going to go through the twin flame journey because I've been on this journey since like 1993. Like I said, that's when I met my counterpart. I did not know back then that was what it was, obviously. I only got that term in like late 2019. So I've been, you don't need the label, I guess is part of the point with this too. So I want to go through the energies and how this has played out for 30 years for me. I'm not going to get too deep into my personal story. I want to give you more. I have a lot of that on my channel already. So really what I want is to kind of paint the picture of why we even separate from our twin flames and why the silent treatment is so important to the journey. Not everyone has to have that, but it's a pretty common theme. And I do see the benefits of it, even though it's, obviously it sucks and it's painful. But so anyway, when you really, there's just a lot of misinformation out there about twin flames. Most of the people talking about it aren't on the journey themselves. They don't really realize it. I find it very obvious to tell the difference if you tune into their energy for just really quickly, or to listen to their story of how they met. And maybe it's also because I've had such a huge relationship experience with my life because I've not been partnered this whole time. So I've had huge range of relationships to pull from. So I listen to a lot of their origin stories and they're just, I'm like, nope, I had that with somebody I was able to get over. And that is the number one sign that you're dealing with a twin flame, is that no matter how long it goes, how many years go by, you're still just madly and deeply in love with this person. The intensity grows. Intensity is not the right word. The love for them grows. The intensity will fade. But that's a different journey or a different video. So what happens with the twin flame journey, how it goes down, that's really the brushstroke of this video is just like the whole journey as a whole. So when you meet your person, you recognize that immediately. You immediately hit it off with this person. And this is a lot of the reason why there's so many people who think they're twin flames. So please just, again, use your discernment. It's easy to hit it off with somebody. Like, if you meet somebody from your soul group or your soul family, if you meet a soulmate or a karmic partner, in the beginning, you're very drawn to this person and you definitely feel like it's different. Maybe not different, but you're just like, oh, who's that? And you hit it off and you have a couple good first dates or something and you're like all lit up. That's very different, in my opinion, and my experience of going on a ton of first dates. My version of it is that we just felt like we'd known each other forever, which, again, you will see that with a soulmate or, somebody in your soul family. You will also find that you will just hit it off immediately. The difference between, maybe a different video again, but the difference between meeting somebody in your soul group versus somebody is actually a twin soul. The difference is you don't really usually have physical sexual attraction for the soul group members. They're usually like that instant best friend that just something like that. They're more of a friend or family member. A twin flame definitely is a romantic attachment. It's for sure a very, very physically attracted partner or situation, and that only grows in intensity as you go through the journey that I'm going to talk about today. And definitely have on my coming up soon, I'm going to talk about sacred sexuality as a twin flame and how it plays out, because it's been fascinating the last handful of years. Okay, so anyway, when you meet this person, like for example, for us, immediately the very first time we hung out together, he said to me that he thought we were brother and sister or married in a past life, and immediately I agreed. And it was just like without even skipping a beat. Whereas everyone else I'd ever dated early on in my life, there was a lot of nervousness or hesitation or, oh, do they like me? Or maybe I should dress up for them, or, just the typical insecurities that we all go through, the nervousness or whatever. I never had any of that with him. It was just like, coming home, which is again why so many people are attaching themselves to this label, because it sounds great, and it was, but it only lasted for a month, and that's also pretty typical for true twin souls. It's usually you meet very young, honestly. You date like a flash and burn kind of a thing, very quick, and it just falls apart fairly quickly. So a lot of times you do actually meet them and get together with them briefly, very brief love affair usually. And it typically, the way it breaks up is something that's one of your core triggers. So for me, it was that I had a really unhealthy high school boyfriend and felt second choice, felt second best, not good enough, unworthy, all that stuff. Not unworthy with my boyfriend, high school guy, but anyway, my counterpart, we had this great bubble love phase where we're hanging out and everything was awesome, and it was obvious that he was interested in me, which I normally, even at the age of 48 now, I normally have a really hard time telling if somebody's hitting on me, but it was very obvious that he was, and I was totally cool with it. Other times in my life, I was not cool with it and I'd run away. Like, why would somebody like me, So anyway, everything about it has always been different. The way it went down, the way it started, everything. But we did have a brief window where we were dating. Well, I thought we were dating, and then I found out he had a girlfriend, and that triggered. And when they talk about twin flame triggers, it's not so much something they say to you, like that's why so many narcissist empaths get attached to this. It's not the trigger in a way a normal relationship triggers you, or your parents trigger you, or your coworker you hate, or your sibling that drives you nuts. It's not a normal kind of trigger like that. That's what everyone else does. What he did was I didn't know that he already had a girlfriend, and it triggered my being second choice loop that I had in my head. And also my mom had really brainwashed me to think like, oh, you meet somebody when you're young and you just stick it out because they're still together 54 years later. So it triggered a lot in me. And again, I was just young, so I had to unlearn a lot of that stuff. And this journey really helped me unlearn it. So that is like the bubble love phase and the first separation. And it's from the twin flames I've found, it's very similar. I've even met, I have a friend who's a twin soul that I become friends with. And that's the point of this channel. I want to seek out the real twin flames to talk to, because this is I've been a very lonely 30 years. Until I got the term twin flame, I'd never knew anyone who'd ever had any experience like this. And I'm privy to a ton of relationships in my life. I worked in the wedding industry for 20 years. So yeah, I've had a ringside view in a lot of people's relationships, and I've never heard of anybody ever having anything like this. So the point of this channel, please, is comment below, email me. You'll find that in the description. I definitely am trying to seek out authentic twin flames. Okay. So the reason for that was, to me, even at the time, way before I ever had the term twin flame, I knew that that's what happened. I knew he triggered this core wound I already had, and then I needed to go and heal it myself. I did. The first couple years afterwards, it is very intense, and I did try to. It wasn't chasing energy. I hate the runner chaser mirroring triggering dogma online. I feel like that's all coming from non-twin flames, because it wasn't a real running chasing situation. He chased me only in the beginning when we got together, but it wasn't like awkward like some chasing energy can be. It felt normal. It felt like he was supposed to be the person hitting on me. And when we got together and we kind of like separated, that was sort of me running, but not really. It was more just that I was like, oh, you already have somebody, I trust your judgment, and so I let him go. That was it. And I did try to, once I realized I wasn't getting over him like a normal person would, I actually was dating other people all through college, trying to like meet other people, but nobody ever, it was all kind of whatever. I just needed experience and stuff. And I did try to like talk to him, and I tried to like, I didn't have communication skills. So I was trying to like explain that I was having a hard time getting over him, but it wasn't a chasing energy necessarily. But I call it a chaotic phase, because I felt like I was sort of chasey or addicted to him or something. But it wasn't as unhealthy as it comes across online. And I've definitely been unhealthy in other versions of relationships. So again, use your discernment. Okay. So when you separate after that stage, the whole point of the silent treatment phase, which eventually we did get to, is to become whole on your own. So we both had to go our separate ways and make something of our lives and go and, do our thing, all through the 20s and 30s, making a name for ourselves, making money, learning who we are, healing all the whatever. I wouldn't say I felt like I was good. I never ever talked about him to anyone, ever, like best friends. They want to know my relationship history, and I never ever talked about him, because I just knew I learned in the hard way in college, trying to talk about him to other people, like best friends and stuff. No one could understand why I couldn't get over this guy, and like honestly, they didn't see the draw. Like they were like, really. But it's like an imprint. Like I've tried to heal it. I took psychology classes in college, and I talked to tons of people, and I quickly learned no one else was going through anything remotely like this. And, obviously I thought something was wrong with me, and I just went about my day, and we lost touch. And, so I learned how to be self-employed and make money and, get a job and do all this stuff. And that was like the early years of separation, where I'm just trying to survive, post-college, that whole era of your 20s, making friends, becoming who you are, that kind of deal. And through that, you're going to date other people, right? So the one thing you want to watch out for, if you're wondering if you should be dating other people, I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad I dated through college, got some experience, because if I waited around for him, I'd still be a virgin. So no, I'm glad I did not wait on him. But I also never gave my heart over to anyone else. So I never got married or any of the stuff that we all think we need in our 20s, marriage, kids, white picket fence, retirement. I never did any of that. Since I have had my awakening, which I do have a video about my actual awakening if you're interested, since my awakening in 2019 with the term and everything, the full tilt awakening, I now see why I was blocked from dating people. I always knew it was an inner journey. I always knew it was up to me. And this is the thing, this is the whole point of my channel, is that you have the knowledge inside of you. You know how to get into union with your twin flame. You don't need a 10 signs, they're your twin flame checklist, and you don't need the 12 steps to union, because when I read that stuff, it's like 99% of it's garbage, or it's just, maybe it's not garbage, but it's not been true for me. And then also it makes it seem like there's something wrong with you and only you, and that you are the one that can manifest union. And that is not really the case. It's just more complicated than the way it comes across online. So you just really, you put in the work after you break up, and you put in the work on yourself. You learn skills, you get jobs, you learn discernment, you heal your own heart, you become whole on your own. That's another stage of the journey, which is never ending, honestly. But the main thing is to get over this, it seems like for everyone in society, not just twin flames, but getting over this ideal picture of what life is supposed to be like. And again, I know so many married people that it's very disappointing for a lot. I would say, like anything in life, it's a bell curve. They're going to have 20% at the beginning that are super happy forever, like my parents, I guess. But they're rare. They're very rare. And then you have 80% of people who get married and divorced, and married and divorced, and married and divorced, or whatever. And then you have the other 20, other end of the spectrum, the other 20% like me, who just never married or anything. So I never had kids or anything. So some of it is just society going through. And I think that's why the twin flame concept is so popular right now, is that so many people are really resonating with the message of heal yourself to have better relationships, which is great. But the union at the end is what's enticing people, that it's this divine love, which it is. But again, don't hold your breath. It's been 30 years, and I'm still not in physical union with my counterpart. We are definitely an energetic union. I'm definitely an inner union. I can only assume that, you know, he's mirroring me in that way and that he's doing the same thing. So yeah, just keep, you know, keep all those thoughts in your head of just how this journey plays out, really, the real twin flame journey. The meaning of it is to go within, as I'm sure you know, if you've found this video, you've already heard all that. The idea is to go within your own inner knowing, untangle all the things that are holding you back. Like I was saying, you know, when you're younger, you really get nervous when you date somebody and insecure and, you know, oh, do I like them? Do they like me? How do I communicate? You learn all these things as you get older, just generally. But eventually you have to reach out to your higher self. Eventually what's going to happen is the universe is going to come and throw down some tower moments. And not, you know, tower is not always a bad thing. For me, I look at the spiritual awakening as a tower moment because I have a video about it, but I was just a Cliff Notes version is that I was actually searching for what was wrong with my career. I was like, what is going on? I'm checking all the boxes. I'm doing all the things. I know I'm capable. I'm smart. I'm a go-getter. Like, what the frick, you know? And so I did a super deep meditative deep dive, and that was how I got the term twin flame. It was my higher self. My guide teams were basically like, nothing's working because you're not with your twin flame. That was what they said. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, and here's the difference between me and a lot of the content online is I did not need anyone to tell me what a twin flame was or who it was. And in that moment, it was like, it was an awakening. I knew exactly what it meant. I'd never heard the term before. That is very common when you hear of real twin flames, is that they've never heard that term before. So when you're working on yourself, you want to get rid of this idealized version of what a relationship looks like, because we've all been like duped by society and religion and all that. Learning how to be happy with yourself and what you do have. Figure out, like, why do you want kids? Like, really journal that. Why do you want kids? Why do you want marriage? Marriage is not all it's cracked up to be. And I'm really glad I never got married, personally. So reach out to your higher self for guidance. And that's usually what happens with the spiritual awakening. So for me, my tower moment was my spiritual awakening after I had done all this other stuff. And I will say, just to give you some hope here, and that's why, you know, my name is Hope on this channel. That's my name, Hope. Here's the deal, is through these phases, for me personally, our first 2 years, we were friends, very good friends. That's why it was so hard for me to move on. It would have been easier for me if I had been able to do silent treatment or not get to know him. It was getting to know him after this bubble love phase that actually is when I fell in love with him. When I let him go, when I found out he had a girlfriend, I didn't really know what I was letting go of. It was too early. I barely knew the guy. And I just, just got to college. There's guys everywhere. So I didn't really, it was because we became friends. And then I was like, oh my God, I pretty quickly realized what I'd done wrong, and we were super close. It was hard. And so that's a lot of what strained it. And so I mentioned in the beginning that I was going to talk about the twin flame telepathy. That's really what happened with our separation, was that I started getting all the 5D activations. And again, 1993, I had no resources for this. I felt insane. I felt crazy. I could feel his emotions. I knew when his girlfriend was visiting our school, I would just wake up and know. And that twin flame knowing, again, I have another video about that already, but that's the stuff. Again, there was no social media. There was no way for me to have known. I'd wake up and just know that she was there, and then I'd get on the bus to go to school, because we had a bus that we could do that in college, and she would be there. And that stuff started freaking me out. Feeling his emotions freaked me out. So that's really what caused the separation and us stop being friends, because it was just too much. And I've always just thought of it that way. It just became too much. It was too hard to be friends with him. And so, what I was getting back to is that, to give you hope, is that eventually the universe, over this period of time, the universe has brought us back together. We've had like 5 or 6 reunions, and only once was it our doing. The rest was all like an accidental thing. So this is the other part of the twin flame journey, and how you know you're really a twin flame is that you can't force it. You can't make it happen. You can't push it. if you try, you're going to fail. I tried. What happened for me, I haven't actually talked about this much on the channel. I think maybe one video I have, but what happened for me is after college, I moved away. I moved really far away. I went to college far away from home. And so I moved back home after college. That's what it was. And I was miserable. And I was just like squeezed constantly. I never had any money. And I just always was like, it was horrible. And so I moved back to the state where we went to college. And I actually didn't know this because we'd lost touch, but he was in the same state. He was like an hour and a half away. And that I did not even make that happen. It was like, totally orchestrated behind the scenes to get me back up to the same state that we were in. So what I'm talking about with that is within like 6 months, we had a reunion. And then like maybe another year after that, we had 2 more reunions. So within a very short amount of time, we were put together in the same room. And each one, I'll do, at some point I'll do a separate video about those, each one and why, because I look back at them now, even at the time I looked back and I was like, man, that was really, I'll have to do a different video just about the reunions. But the point is it was orchestrated behind the scenes. So we are not, I say this all the time in my readings and on this channel, we are not driving the bus here. Your higher self is driving the bus. The universe is driving the bus. There is a reason why twin flames separate. There is a reason for this journey. It's all a journey back to the self and becoming super powerful by yourself, knowing that you are amazing. The spiritual awakening is definitely part of it. Getting the term at some point is part of it, usually after years of going through this. And, again, all the dogma online is all about union being like the ultimate goal and that. But what they don't realize is the ultimate goal is going through this awakening part of the journey, finding your own inner light and following it. But more importantly, then going into like a cocoon and coming out the other side like this glorious rainbow. So this is a very important reason. I mean, once you've healed enough on this journey, you really don't care about union anymore. I mean, the only reason I care about it is because I read all the stupid blogs that push union all the freaking time. Like, anyway, I'll put a pin in that for now. So these are some of the common signs, though, of a twin flame journey of, yes, there's this bubble love phase, but I don't love the normal dogma. If you really are a twin flame, you are a very advanced soul. This is my personal opinion, and a little bit of what I read online is that we incarnate in after we've already ascended in all our other lives. Like, we're basically about to become Archangel Michael and Hope. We are Faith. I think Archangel Michael's counterpart. Anyway, we are already ascended masters. So that's why it's more of an inner journey. And yes, union is supposed to happen if you've met your counterpart in this life. I believe that, and I from authentic sources, that's where they've channeled also. I mean, it would be like such a torturous journey otherwise, like I feel bad for people who are like searching for their twin flame because they're missing the point. So what can you do during separation? Let's talk more about that. That was a lot of what I wanted to talk about in this journey. Obviously, eventually you just have to surrender to the journey. I have a video about the 3 different times I've surrendered, and now I've even surrendered a 4th time. So, definitely is at some point you're surrendering to the fact that you just love this person and it's not meant to be. I would say that's the first surrender. When you have your awakening, you're going to surrender to the signs and the magic. And even before that, like I said, my awakening came very late, like year 26. But all along I saw the magic. All along I knew I had telepathy with him. All along I called it a divine connection in my journal. All along I knew, in my last video about manifesting, I did a drawing in the first year, 1993, of us, and it was 2 holes coming together. I literally said that in my journal. So this is why I'm always talking about that on my channel, and why I just want to help you find your own inner twin flame journey blueprint towards union. You have it within you, and journaling is huge. I have another video about the 7 things that have helped, which one of them is journaling. But it's not until I got my awakening that I started seeing angel numbers everywhere. But so what you want to do when you are in this other phase of like the early years where you're first separated, and what we everybody does this. It's pretty common, but you're going to end up with like really unhealthy relationships, and you're going to help some healthy relationships in there too. Even with me being single most of my life, I've given too much to partners and put myself aside, like the empath that I am. I overgive to my family, to my friends. I'm the one they call. I'm everybody's therapist, but then there's no one that helps me. I don't have that person I can call when I get overwhelmed with this twin flame stuff specifically. This is why I'm trying to find real twin flames to be friends with, because now I have a couple, and one of them the other day, I was having a really bad day, and I reached out to him, and he was able to do a ton of distance healing on me, which was amazing. Thank you for doing that. You're also going to go through, victim mentality and all kinds of stuff. But dating people who are super toxic for you, or you're the one that's toxic for them, like both ways, there's going to be, the thing is, we all need contrast, right? So part of the reason I've been like this whole time, I've always known this was my person, and that's the way I journal it, my person. I've met a ton of people, and I've worked in industries where I've met so many people, and I've never been interested in anybody. It's very rare for me to even be attracted to anybody. And then when the relationships I have had, they just shine a light on this guy even more. And then, like I said, I've had 5 or 6 reunions with him, and every time I'm like, with distance and healing, and I feel like I don't need him anymore, but every time I see him in person, I'm like, oh yeah, nope, nope. And again, if you watch some of my other videos, you'll know that I was dating this guy, and I actually thought this one guy was like going to knock my twin off the top of the list. And then I saw them in the same day. The universe conspired to have me see them in the same day. And then it was night and day, and it showed me just how much I was settling just to be in a relationship that looks good to the outside world. I was settling. I was limiting myself hardcore by being with that guy. And I don't blame that guy at all. We just had different baggage that didn't fit, and it was a very important learning relationship for me. I learned a ton. I practiced a lot. Like, I knew he wasn't my person, so I actually used that relationship as a practice ground to learn force myself to be vulnerable, all kinds of stuff. And so he's probably more of a karmic partner, that guy. And I'm sure I did something for him too. So, but I had to like really, really admit to myself that I was with him specifically because I was getting so much crap from society and my parents and my family and my friends that I was not in a relationship. Everybody seemed to be worried about it, even though I had healed so much. I didn't need it. I don't care. Like, that's just dogma that tells us we have to be with somebody. So getting strong on your own is very important. And so this is the general journey here. We meet our person. We have to like figure it out on our own because they're not going to help you and they're going to give you the silent treatment or whatever. So even though I was really good friends with him, talking about it with him was not possible. I tried. Again, I don't fault him because we were young. I didn't have communication skills. I didn't like put him on the spot and ask questions. And I was trying to like respect the fact that he was in a relationship, and he like if he was my actual boyfriend, I would have maybe talked to him, but I was trying to respect the fact that he doesn't owe me anything. Closure, everyone has to get closure on their own, right? So I kind of knew that. And then I really built my life up and figured it out, especially once I moved back to the state that I was in. Things started to open up for me financially, and then I've been good on my own. I've been single and happy for a really long time. I did used to, this version, like I used to hide from, like I just avoided relationships altogether for a very long time. I thought I was bad at them because of the twin flame thing. I thought I was just terrible. I actually started dating women for a while because I thought I was just bad at dating men. But that's where I now look back and see like the universe was blocking that. Any connection I did make that was positive, that could have turned into a relationship, none of it did. So the reason I bring that up is because if you get married, that might become a tower moment later. If you get married and have kids, That might be a tower moment later. So just check with yourself. And I'm not saying don't do that. It's just so much harder to extrapolate yourself from that situation. I personally believe that that's why I'm in separation still with my counterpart. He's been married for a long time, and I respect those boundaries, and I don't talk to him about any of this stuff. I can't wait for the minute that I can. I'm just dying now. My version of union now is for us to just hash it out and compare notes. I want to see what this 30-year journey's been like for him. I no longer have any judgment, any attachment, really. It that comes and goes, obviously, because he's my twin flame. But just, if you're going to get married and have kids, just think about how hard it is to extricate yourself from those situations should something come up. And again, that's why I brought up this devil card and this other card. It's a lot of times we pick people like that for all the wrong reasons. It's like, just check with yourself of like, why are you getting married? Why do you need kids? Why do you want all that? And journal it all out. And I'm not saying don't do it, because one thing that I personally believe is that authentic twin flames are not going to have kids together, because it's too hard to do all of this soul growth and this ascension work when you're raising kids, especially with this person that you have this energetic and metaphysical connection with. And again, that's definitely one of the more authentic signs of a real twin flame, is that it's an energetic connection. It's like, when they say magic, it makes it sound like, oh, it's just fun and like Hollywood. But it actually, when you stand next to each other, like chakras click into place and you can feel it physically. That's what they mean by magnetic. It's like you literally feel like you're clicking into place with this person that feels like your favorite hoodie and jeans. It's so hard to explain to a normal person. It's really cool now that I've healed so much, and like the last time it happened, I was just like, oh, but I wish I'd said something at the time. Now I do, because I didn't have the term twin flame last time I saw him. Now I'm not censoring myself at all anymore with him. So yeah, this is basically the gist of the journey. And union might come. Yes. I personally have heard, my guides have been very clear that union is on the docket for me in this life. But it's not up to me. I don't know when. There's nothing else I can do. I've healed everything I can do. I talk to my guides every day. I'm just working on myself. I'm doing what I can do in life. I've gone through ancestral trauma clearing. I'll do a different video on all the things you can clear as a twin flame. But this is a general gist of the different stages of towards union. And again, I hope this helps you paint a picture for yourself and how you can put different phases of your journey into perspective. Like I've spent a lot of time switching my perspective around on why I went down, how we broke up, the story I told myself about that. And I've just really seen why other relationships are invaluable on this journey. So I'm so glad I never thought to wait around for my counterpart, because I've had a lot of great experiences in my life. And I've learned a lot about myself in an easier way. I mean, that's really what a karmic partners to me are more volatile relationships, which is what I think most people who think they're twin flames that aren't, I think that's what they're dealing with, is like a karmic partner. They can be very volatile and, like I said, very toxic and unhealthy, running and chasing. All of that stuff comes with normal karmic relationships, in my personal opinion. A soulmate relationship is much easier to navigate, and you get along better, and you can communicate, and you work through things together. That's a person I have in my life right now that we're working on some stuff together, but there's no stress, there's no yelling, it's just, we can just go to get coffee and talk about where we're at and the end of story. And then we get on the same page, and it's super easy. And we're just hanging out at a coffee shop, snuggling on the couch. I love that I have that version of a relationship, because it shows me that I am actually good at relationships. It's not, what I thought in the beginning. When I was in my 20s, I thought I was just bad at relationships because everyone else was able to get married and figure it out. But again, on the other side of that, I know now that a lot of marriages are not that happy. So, or they're all missing something. People use sex as a weapon, which is super unhealthy thing to do, is to withhold sex to get something, or to give it to get something. That's all the stuff you got to outgrow in your 20s and 30s. hopefully by your time you're 30, is get rid of all those like unhealthy limiting beliefs and what love is. And it's not your fault. It's society teaches us these things. Our parents, our family of origin, our religion, we learn all this stuff. And if you're a twin flame or an advanced soul of any sort, a star seed of any sort, I look at this whole journey as an onion, and it's just pulling back layer after layer after layer of an onion and releasing everything that doesn't fit until you realize that you are perfect just as you are. You are divine source. You are the same energy as your twin flame. So instead of giving that love to your twin flame, you give it to yourself, or other relationships. I give it to myself before I even give it to my soulmate person that I have in my life right now. So, and I'm fascinated at this point to see what would happen if, when my person stops giving me the silent treatment. I mean, I guess we're kind of past that phase now. I've worked really hard to get the line of communication back open over the years. Like I said, when I moved back to the state that we live in, I did every once in a while, if I was in his town, I would reach out and be like, hey, you want to get a coffee or a beer and catch up or whatever. I just kind of, I always knew that I didn't want this to end this way in this life. And so I've always respected his boundaries, and he always said no, or he would like say that he didn't get the message until he missed the window I was going to be in town or whatever. And it's fine. Again, you can feel their energy. Your twin flame, you can just feel it. And so, yeah, I could tell that he was just kept me at arm's length. For a long time, I thought, again, here's another layer of the onion for myself. For a long time, I thought it's because he still hated me for how everything went down in college, even though we didn't really have anything specific that happened, not that I can remember, other than me talking about it with too many people because I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on, and I was trying to find somebody that could help me move on. So, I mean, I'm sure that caused some problems, but yeah, I just thought he hated me. And then eventually I realized, oh no, it's the opposite. Like, it took a lot of peeling of the onion of all my stories and all my things that I'd learned growing up, where I grew up with my parents and all the stuff. You got to unpack all of it. It's like it's a clearance sale. Everything must go. You've got to get rid of everything. And then there's even more things you can get rid of. Like, you can get into your multidimensional self. You can get into your other lives and clear out crap. Like, there's so much stuff to clear. I thought I was ready for union a long time ago. And every day I'm just more ready. I can tell you there's more layers of that onion. So just keep following. The hope I want to leave you with in this video on this twin flame journey and the whole meaning of it all, and why they say it's a solo journey, is really to reconnect with your own intuition, your own heart over all else, over what you see on social media, over what the government tells you, over what your parents think. All of it has to go, and you have to really tap into your own guides, your own knowing. Dismantle all of this, quiet all of that noise in your head. And you can't just quiet it and mute it. You have to actually get in there, untangle this mess, and recycle it. Get rid of it. Transmutation is what it's called. And if you're interested in where to begin on that, if you're just starting and this is all resonating, look at my playlists. I have my Twin Flame Journey playlist where I have all these videos I've talked about that I've already done are in there. And I also have an Ascension playlist for soul growth, and that is specifically videos from other YouTubers that I found invaluable on this journey. Versus going to Quora or Reddit or Facebook groups for twin flames, like 99% of those people are not in a twin flame connection. Real twin flames are too busy living our life and trying to figure this out. We're not in those groups. We have a very low tolerance for social media and all the drama and all the stuff. Like, a lot of twin flames aren't even online on the internet. I'm done with social media completely. I have links to my accounts below in the description and on my about, but I'm pretty much done with it. I don't really go on there. YouTube is the only place I hang out. I'd rather have, so that's part of it, is coming out of this hermit phase of going within, cleaning up all this stuff, and eventually coming out and realizing what a badass you are, what a divine being you really actually are, getting getting tuned in and tapped into your multidimensionality. Get tuned in and tapped into how to work with the energy in a healthy manner. The word empath is a fairly new thing that everyone's throwing around. I think it's because a lot of people are incarnated after 1990 are like another wave of higher advanced souls. So a lot of people are born in as empaths and having Kundalini awakenings and just being tuned into energy, and there's indigo children and all kinds of different types, and twin flame is just one of them. So that's, I think, another reason why a lot of people think they're on this journey, is it's similar to a lot of the other starseed type things. But my point is, I used to know that once I got the term empath, it didn't really feel like it fit, but I do think it is that now. I realized what made me great at my job is what made me bad at my life, personal life. I realized that like 15 years ago. And I thought that was really ironic, that my being able to tune into people's energy and manipulate the energy of a room made me amazing at my job. But it really was difficult with relationships specifically, because I know where they're at before they do. That was that karmic partner that I was talking about that I saw on the same day as my twin flame. Part of the problem was, like, I knew we had something, I could feel it from him, but he kept denying that he did. And and then eventually, by the time he figured it out, I was over it. I'm like, come on, man. Like, so my being empathetic and being able to tune into people's energies and their intentions, it's also why I can't watch most people's twin flame videos online. It's just 10 seconds, 30 seconds in, and I'm like, I can't with this. It's like not right. My discernment is off the charts. So anyway, I hope this helps you with twin flame signs, the meaning of the journey and the separation, specifically why we separate as twin flames, how it benefits both parties. The one thing I didn't say about the mirroring is anything you do for yourself during this phase, you're actually doing it for your counterpart also. They are working on different things. So for example, like I said, I've been single my whole life, and my counterpart has always been in a relationship. Always. So we are learning opposite things. We're learning different skills. So you just have to think about the fact that you are learning different skills than your counterpart. And that is why the union will work out, because you're going to bring two totally different things to the table when you can work together on your joint mission. That's the real meaning of this whole twin flame journey through separation. And that's why silent treatment is so important. Ghosting and all that stuff, it's very important. It's hard. I all these years, 30 years, all I've wanted was to talk this out with him. But I've respected the fact that he's always had these boundaries put in place. And honestly, it's made me respect him even more, because I've been in a lot of relationships with married men. I've been the other woman a lot in my life. That's like my main template that I've had to heal and clean up for myself. I've had to really become the empress of my own life and stop attracting these people like my twin flame that were already partnered. And it's because my energy is good is part of the problem. So anyway, enough about me, but he's learning different things, and I respect that. I respect that he's kept me at a distance. That actually makes me respect him more, because I know so many cheaters. I've had a ton of cheaters in my life. So yeah, the silent, and I get it that he needs space to figure out his own life. And so anyway, I'll leave it on that. I hope this was really helpful to paint the picture of the whole point of the twin flame journey. What's the meaning of it all? Why the silent treatment phase is important. Different signs if you weren't sure how to tell the difference between a karmic partner, a soulmate versus a twin flame. Hopefully this cleared that up for you. And check out my other video about twin flame telepathy, because I've had premonitions and telepathy with other people in my life. And so again, the nuance there can be difficult to discern. And and then I think upcoming I'll do a video about the different reunions that we've had, but that's one of those videos I'm like really would rather do it with him than I don't love recording these videos without having told him all these things and talked all this out with him. But I've been repeatedly pushed by my higher self to do this, and the main thing is that I'm looking for real twin flames. So if you are one, I would love to connect with you. So my email address is down below. Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. If you're a twin flame, good luck, man. This is not an easy journey. I feel for you. and just buckle up, because I can tell you there's nothing I could have predicted with this 30 years aside from what I journaled. Like I knew it wasn't over for us. I always knew that I wanted to fix this in this life and not in the next life. So that, again, your own twin flame journey template is in there. You just have to get it out and trust the divine, trust your higher self, and keep doing the work. Keep peeling back layers of that onion. All right. You got this. Okay. You do. You got this. It's a tough job that we signed up for. And it's a solo journey until it's not. So good luck. All right. Okay. Bye.